Well, it's just about sunrise here the morning of November 20th, and I'm settled into a really cool spot. I decided to get ambitious this morning and do a self-film hanging hunt and hike way back in here with stand and sticks and all that. It's a spot I've been wanting to see and look at here on the new farm. It's probably only 150 yards from where we killed Gronk. I can almost see the tree that we shot him out of. It's just further down the river. You can see a little bit more into this bedding area. I got a south wind kind of blowing over the river here, so it should work out pretty well. Mike and I hunted a few hundred yards from this spot yesterday morning and saw a lot of activity. Just a lot of deer filtering in, especially later in the morning. So I hope I got in here clean. As far as I know, I did. There's not a lot of breeze. It's single digits for sure. We're at the tail end of the rut here, so I'm hoping to catch one of these big mature bucks we have on this farm alone this morning. This should be a good morning, and I'm excited to see what happens.
Realtree's Midwest Whitetail is brought to you by RTP Outdoors, Redneck Blinds, Hoyman Tree Saws, Cuddyback, Ozonics, Nikon, Easton Arrows, America's Best Bowstrings, Viking Solutions, Spot Hog Releases, Cabela's, Hoyt, Frigid Forage, Fuse, Grizzly Coolers, Drake Non-Typical, Wasp Archery, and Realtree Edge. Hunt with an edge.
Well, here we are 6.5 months later, and Jake and I are going to actually go hang a stand in that same tree that you just watched that hunt. The nice thing about this farm is it's right on the river, and we're going to try to use that to our advantage when it comes to entry and exit as much as possible. If we can set up in that tree and get in clean, or at least get to the river clean, it's bulletproof access because it's just off the riverbank. You have a ton of direction to blow a south wind over the river, and it's just a natural travel corridor, so you're just kind of sneaking in there back behind the deer as they work around that river bend. So that's the project today. Jake and I have this little canoe loaded up. We're gonna go down river and get up in that tree and hang a permanent stand. With last fall being the first year of hunting this farm, Mike and I didn't hang basically any permanent stands. Everything was a hanging hunt. And we want to make it a little bit easier on ourselves this year by having some permanent sets to go to. So that's today's project. Jake and I are gonna get in the canoe and see if we can go find this tree.
My abs hurt. Mine aren't too bad at all, actually.
It's because I'm trying.
Somebody's got to do something around here.
Trying to counterbalance you.
That bank's pretty steep.
It doesn't look too bad by those logs. It's like at least
you go further that way.
Straight ahead of us.
Yeah.
I think that's gonna be our spot where the grass is growing. That's gonna be the least steep.
Yeah.
We put in by this red dot here and came down river. Last year on this mobile map, I dropped a yellow dot right where that oak tree was. It was a good oak tree. This steep bank's kind of hard to find spots to get up, but we missed it just by a little bit. But it should still work out for good access right at this spot. Cool spot. You can see the river over my shoulder back here. Probably only 30 yards off the river. I'm gonna go and try to work on a pass so when we pop up to hunt it, we can come right along the bank and right to the stand. There's a little ditch that actually runs right to the stand. But there's a pretty good trail at like 10 yards, and I didn't hang this stand super high because I'm actually planning on trying to use my recurve as much as I can this fall, and having that trail at 10 yards is nice for that. Well, even though it's about 90 degrees in early June, I was telling Jake it's pretty fun to be actually hanging a stand, doing something a little closer to hunting related. I'm excited about that spot. There's a couple things that make it really good. One, the access is almost bulletproof. As long as we can get to the river and walk that extra 20 to 30 yards from the bank to the stand, it's super clean entry and exit. So that's the first thing. Second thing is just the way that the deer move on this property. They obviously follow the river movement, but just to the northeast of the stand, 100 yards, 200 yards, there's a really good pinch. And so the deer are really close to the river already, but they do two things from there, it seems like. One, they continue to go straight across the peninsula and follow the river as it keeps moving to the south, or they hug the peninsula and come back and bed in here. So those are the two movements, and that stand is almost right at that intersection to what the two movements the deer do. So that's the other thing that makes it really good. And I guess the third thing would be just the deer aren't able to get downwind. You can blow any type of south wind out to the river here, and because of how many downfalls there are between the riverbank and the tree stand, the deer tend to circle out in front, and that's evident by the amount of trails out in front of that stand. So like I said, I'm excited about that spot, and you can bet we'll be in there this fall. It's probably more of a November type of stand, a rut movement stand, especially with the increased visibility. Once all the leaves come off, you can see a good chunk of that peninsula. So another good project to knock out. Jake and I are gonna head back to the truck, and hopefully we can get back without flipping the canoe.
Don't be going underwater, pal. Well, it's May 16th. Caleb and I are down on the farm, and we just finished up our 1 acre corn plot. I work in education, Caleb works for the city, And we're just two average guys that don't know a whole lot about planting corn. But with the use of friends and their equipment, we were able to get 1 acre of corn in during this last week. The steps that we took to do this is that we tilled up this ground with a 5-foot tiller and behind a tractor, and then we used a 2-row planter to plant the rest of the corn. And then this week what we did is we came back and actually sprayed it along the way. Preceding that, we know that corn takes a ton of nitrogen. How did I know that? I asked my friends, and I followed the steps of guys like Skip Sly and Brooks Cahoe and Jordan Feller, and they helped me along the way. So with some friends and with some neighbors' equipment, two average guys were able to take this plot right here and turn it into an acre of corn, and I'm hoping that it grows up. As you can see from the pictures, we have lots of corn actually growing up in the rows, and this should prove to be very, very, very helpful come late season. So our kids are down here with us. You can hear them yelling in the background. They had a lot of fun playing in the pond. We want to include our family as much as possible in everything that we do. But again, we're hoping that this plot proves to be fruitful come late November into the late season as well. Again, two average guys planting corn, and we got it done. So hopefully that gives you hope if you're sitting there wondering where even to start with planting corn. So yeah, hope you enjoyed this, hope you learned something, and hopefully you find yourself more encouraged to plant your own plot.
It's June 6th today, and I'm here with Matt Thede of Outreach Outdoors, and we're actually on the farm where you just got done planting some corn. What was it, about 2 weeks ago now?
Yeah, a couple weeks ago.
We were checking on it just a few minutes ago, and it's looking good. It's got a little bit of rain, but probably needs a little bit more now.
Heat and humidity is always good for corn, so
yeah,
it works well.
But it's pretty cool that you're able to. You've never done this before, never done corn before.
Yeah, I'm a newbie to corn, so yeah. Beans were pretty easy, till it and broadcast, and then harrow it over. But for corn, I knew nothing about it. I'm just an average guy and didn't know anything about planting corn. So.
Yeah, and so give us a real quick overview. I know we just saw that segment of pretty much how you did it, but living proof that anyone can do this if you just find the right people to talk to and willing to put in the hard work to do it.
Yeah, so anything from finding the corn. I found a local seed company outside my hometown, and they scooped up some corn for me, and then calling guys like Skip Sly, and as long as I mention that this corn plot was brought to you by Skip Sly Incorporated, as long as I do that. But no, calling guys like Skip Sly, and he helped me out so much with the nitrogen content, how much nitrogen I need, and then what chemicals I need to put on afterwards. I just knew nothing about that. So an average guy like me going in, I was initially intimidated, but after I talked to our local seed company and then talked to Skip Sly, I felt like I had a good plan. And so from there, it was a matter of calling a few neighbors because I didn't have a planter. Right. So I borrowed a 2-row planter. I borrowed his tiller, 6-foot tiller that hooked on the back of a tractor, and we got it done. So.
I'm impressed. It looks good. It's only an acre of corn, but you have it fenced in and protected, and I can't wait to see some of your hunts over at late season. I'm sure it'll be a producer. Yeah,
I actually surprised myself. I wasn't sure if it was going to grow at all or not, but when you put 200 units of nitrogen on it, I guess that really helps it out. So.
That's right. It looks good. The real reason I came out to meet Matt is we at Midwest Whitetail is going to partner with Outreach Outdoors this fall, so we're super excited about that. I've known about Outreach for a while now. I have a couple buddies that actually film for you guys, and I've seen some of your videos, but the thing I'm most excited about is just two good groups of guys on both sides just coming together to bring you guys even more content, more diverse content, that type of stuff. So you can look forward to seeing Outreach on Midwest Whitetail this year. But real quick, Matt, why don't you give us a quick overview of what Outreach Outdoors is all about, how you got started, all that good stuff.
Yeah, I think what it initially started with was a bunch of guys who were passionate about their faith and passionate about the outdoors. Yeah. And so if we could combine those two passions into one and then somehow impact our audience with some just simple truths out there that combine creation and what we're doing, it was a perfect fit. And we knew that just from the whitetail world that there are a lot of passionate people that hunt whitetails, including us. And so if we can combine that with our passion for faith and somehow have a chance to share that, we thought it was going to be a great fit. So 2005 is when we kind of sat around a campfire with a few people, came up with the name Outreach Outdoors, bought some cameras, and we started filming. And then we had, after we had enough team members and footage, we put together our first DVD and actually put together like 6 years of DVDs in a row, and just sold them at the Whitetail Classic in Des Moines. And from there, kids happen, life happens, family happens. My buddy and I, we still film and share through Facebook and through the Outreach Outdoors site. But this was a great opportunity for us when this came along, and Skip gave us a call, and And the guys, we needed another reason to film and break out the gear again, and I've been doing it, you know, constantly since then. But a lot of guys were super excited about it and knew the quality of guys that were at Midwest Whitetail, and we knew that if we knew the partnership would work well because Outreach Outdoors could bring and reach a more diverse audience than what Midwest Whitetail is already doing, also while bringing quality hunts to the table. So I think it's a win-win situation for everybody. So
yeah, I'm super excited. Like you said, I think it's a great fit, and like I mentioned earlier, my favorite part about doing this is just being able to interact with a bunch of like-minded guys, just good guys, do it for the right reasons. I mean, you guys are great examples of that. You know, good family people, you know, that just live the average life, but work hard to make time to do this type of stuff. So I'm excited. I think it's going to be a great fit. There'll be a number of other guys other than yourself, right?
Yeah, we probably have around 10 different guys filming, or, you know, 5 or so teams that'll be out there. So we're excited to bring as many updates as we can, you know, with our lives that we have, and excited to add and contribute to what Midwest Whitetail's already started. So.
Yeah, so look for the Outreach Outdoors group alongside Midwest Whitetail this fall. We'll be bringing all their content on the same platforms that we run ours, and I'm looking forward to it. I think we'll produce some great content, and we'll start getting that going later in the summer. You're getting ready to leave in a couple of days for China on a mission trip, right?
Yeah, we're going to China, so that's part of our lifestyle, and helping others around the world, and so if we can do that and make the world a better place, and that's what we do.
Good stuff. I'm sure we'll catch up after that, and definitely look forward to having Outreach on the team this year.
We're excited about having the Outreach Outdoors guys joining us this season. I'm sure their content will be great and a great addition to the Midwest Whitetail shows. We're wrapping up the Midwest Whitetail annual meeting here at the iCubs game at Principal Park in Des Moines. We'll bring you some highlights from the meeting in next week's episode. Well, I appreciate you joining me this week. We'll see you right back here again next week for the next episode of Midwest Whitetail. And remember to always dream big.